Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Najrin Najib and I'm from SR115. So in this video, we will be talking about HIIT or HIIT. So what is HIIT? HIIT is known as High Intensity Interval Training, which is a form of interval training, a cardiovascular exercise alternating short periods of intense anaerobic exercise with less intense recovery periods until you are too exhausted to continue the training. So the question is, why do we perform HIIT? HIIT is performed to gain benefits such as burning calories, losing weight, and building muscles. It also lowers blood pressure, blood sugar, as well as improving oxygen and blood flow. So how do we perform HIIT? Firstly, we do not need to go to the gym. There are no equipment needed, and we can do it anywhere we want to perform HIIT. There are actually 5 types of HIIT or high intensity interval training. Firstly is Tabata, second Imam, third ladders, fourth complexes, and lastly AMRAP. So in this video, we will be talking about AMRAP. What is AMRAP? AMRAP is a workout that we need to complete as many reps or rounds as we can in the given time. As example, we are going to perform 4 exercises in 20 minutes and complete as many rounds of the circuit as we can. In this video, we will demonstrate to you guys 4 different exercises, and firstly, I will show you push-up.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Zulhelmi Zulkifli, and now I will demonstrate you on how to do jumping lunges.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Zulkifli Zulkifli. In this video, I will show you on how to do a mountain climbers.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Akmal bin Muhammad Shariman from SR115. Today I'm gonna demonstrate on how to do burpees. The high-intensity exercise should be done at near maximum intensity. The number of repetitions and length of each depends on the exercise, but may be as little as 3 repetitions with just 20 seconds of intense exercise. There is no specific formula for HIIT. It depends on one's level of cardiovascular development. A common formula involves 2-to-1 ratio of work to recovery periods. For example, 30 to 40 seconds of high sprinting alternated with 15 to 20 seconds of jogging or walking, and repeated to failure.
Now, I'm going to explain about metabolic response during HIIT training. HIIT is the best exercise to engage in when your goal is to burn away stubborn fat. The intensity of the exercise leads to an increased rate of fat oxidation as well as excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, aka VO2 max, which occurs when your body recovers from its oxygen-deprived state during the HIIT exercise. Furthermore, ATP production increased during heat via three systems: ATP-PC system, anaerobic, glycolysis, or via oxidative mechanism. Other than that, heat also can increase glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity, thus helping to regulate blood glucose at healthy levels. Next is cardiovascular response during heat training. Based from the graph shown, we can conclude that when doing heat, as the heart rate is increasing linearly, followed by the stroke volume and cardiac output. The heart is pumped rapidly during heat, thus the systolic blood pressure rises as the blood flow going through vasodilation and vasoconstriction, distributing and redistributing the blood to active muscles and organs. Meanwhile, the plasma volume is reducing about 10 to 20%, causing hemoconcentration, making the blood pH become more acidic of 7.4 pH to 7.0 pH or lower, and decrease in muscle pH resulting from blood lactate accumulation during heat.
Moving on to the respiratory adaptation, and in this slide I will explain what will happen to the respiratory system. So the first one is breathing rates, where it increases when intensity increases. Over time, this will lead to an increment in respiration rate, therefore a more efficient respiration rate of air going in and out of the lungs. And then the second one is lung capacity, where the lungs capacity increase their ability to expand, enabling a greater quantity of air to move in and out. And this is a similar adaptation to the increase in stroke volume in the cardiovascular system. And then the third one is pulmonary ventilation. After weeks of heat training, there will be an increase in respiratory responses of the carbon dioxide production, hydrogen ions, and body and also blood temperatures, which stimulates further increases in the pulmonary ventilation. And then the last one, after weeks of heat training, more blood will enter the ventricles, causing myocardium to be stretched. As the further myocardium is stretched, the stronger and more forceful the contract will be generated. Next is muscle changes adaptation. So basically, muscles mainly involved during heat training are core, glutes, hamstrings, quads, biceps, and triceps. Heat training significantly improves both VO2 max and also skeletal muscle, mitochondrial enzyme production when the training program is carried out for as little as 6 weeks. Other than that, capillary density is known to increase with higher intensity training, with the effect of increasing transit time of blood through the muscle and improving oxygen extraction from the muscle. Muscles then generate lactic acid as a byproduct of intensive exercise, and as this builds up, the pH of the blood around the muscles drop. This drop in pH eventually prevents the muscles contracting further. So at this point, you need to rest to allow the lactic acid to be metabolized. The strength and endurance of the diaphragm and intercostal muscles improve. This results in an improved ability to breathe the more air for longer with less fatigue. So the heat training tends to increase the size and strength of the respiratory muscles.
Alright, next is hormone responses, which is following all the selected training. Alright, next is the classification of the hormonal responses, which is have a 3, chronic change. For the chronic change, you actually have a 2, which is the first one is chronic change during the resting concentration, and another one chronic change acute responses to exercise. And then next is acute responses during the exercise, which is have a difference between the chronic change acute response to exercise and acute response during exercise. And then the last one is receptor change. Alright, next is a part of the hormone responses from the selected exercise, which is for the four of the point, which is the first one is the testosterone, which is we call as the testis. It have a few functions for the testosterone. So testis, first one is increase muscle mass, increase muscle strength also, and also increase aerobic capacity, reduce fat mass, increase the bone mass, and the functional of the testis is elevated during and immediately following exercise. Alright, for the next one is the liver, which is the short name is the liver. The IGFS, which is what is IGFS? IGFS is insulin-like, which is a growth factors. That is the IGFS. We know as the liver, which is the stimulant for the liver. They will related to insulin and mediates many action of the GH, which is after this I will talk about the GH. So for the function, they will increase the proliferation and differentiation of the satellite cells, and also the protein synthesis, and also enhance muscle hypertrophy. So the one is the growth hormone, which is the short name is the GH, and for surely it is the anterior pituitary, which is in our brain. So for the growth hormone, the stimulate is a stimulate protein synthesis for muscles and from the muscle tissue and a bone growth. And the GH also increase during the exercise because of what? Because of to mobilize fatty acid and maintenance of blood glucose. And then the last one is the pancreas, which is the pancreas actually have a two chemical, like two items inside the pancreas, which is the insulin and the glucagon. So we go for the insulin first, which is the insulin we call as the B cell, which is the B cell is from isolate of Langerhans. This is the stimulate or the function for the insulin. They will promote the storage of the glucose, amino acid, and the fats. And also the insulin increase the muscle protein synthesis when amino acid is adequate, and it will respond to the glucose intake. So for the pancreas, which is in the B cell insulin, for the aerobic or anaerobic training, it will improve insulin sensitivity and also reduce the insulin resistance. So that is for the insulin, which is a B cell from the islet of the Langerhans. So next is the glucagon, which is we call as the A cell, which is the A cell is in islet of the Langerhans of pancreas. So what the glucagon do, which is the breakdown of the glucogen and also the promote the mobilization of the glucose and the fatty acid, and it will also glucagon will also increase the energy, and the glucagon also high glucose level. So that's for the pancreas. Next is the conclusion, which is the conclusion is for the HIT, which is high intensity training, is more we do the HIT or the high intensity exercise is more the hormones will response, which is will affected, and also the system in our body will involved with what we do, especially in the training, in the exercise, or what we do. And then the more we do the HIT, which is the high intensity training, is more we get the good condition, which is for our body. And then also we can get the quality of the training, which is we can improve our fitness and improve our body condition. So but we need to do by schedule the exercise, because if we not manage the exercise, which is we keep doing the high intensity training, we will get the bad effect from the training, which is for example, we can get the injury and so on. So as the athlete, we need to rest our body after do any exercise, which is surely for the HIT, which is the high intensity training, because we will get the bad effect from the HIT if we keep doing the same routine or the same training every days in a week. So that's it.